Hello and welcome. We will now be entering Gorl World. Please ready yourself for nonsense. Buckle in and buckle up.
Hello and welcome to the channel. As you can see, I've done a little redecorating. I hope you like it. I continued down the black hole of Gorl World and I made some charts. I made some games. So we are going to play a little game. It's the Wheel of Nonsense. And Annaland. Yes, it's Annaland. So when I started out doing all of Bikini Bay. And what I realized very quickly was that one of these events needed their very own Explore and Explain board, so that the rest of it just kind of makes a little bit more sense. So instead of doing all of Bikini Bay, I'm going to focus in on the Gillette incident in 2019/photo. It will set up a lot of other things later on down the road, and yet I also think that it connects with things in the past. And if we're trying to look at how did we get here with Anna, I feel like this is a very pivotal point in the story. A couple of notes. I have edited her video to just the important bits with enough context. She tends to ramble and go off topic and tangents. It's too much. I've also sped her up to 1.5 speed, so you're welcome. If you want to stick around to the very end, number one, I'd super appreciate it. But two, there will be a little fun treat at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and put a preview for my next video in it. It's pretty silly and awesome and really good. Like, I'm actually really interested. The whole story is really good. But anyway, all right, let's strap in, get going, and I'll see you at the end. All right, this is the one. This is the This Image Changed My Life mental health story time. This is from July 27th, 2023. It's wild. Here we go.
So today I'm going to tell you guys a story that is really important to me and to my journey on really who I am today. And it's kind of where everything started. And it's something I haven't told you. Let's just start at the very beginning, okay? As you guys might remember, pre-pandemic, I took a beautiful photo of myself on a beach in Cuba. This is the photo, if you don't remember. And it did really, really well considering I was not a super famous creator at that time. And a brand reached out to me, and I'm not going to say the brand's name, and asked if they could repost this image on their page and use it in advertising. Now, I'm gonna be very honest with you. Baby Anna was not smart about getting paid or image rights or anything like that. And I gave that image up for...
And that's funny because in 2019, she had already done a lot of other things. Like, she had already done the New York Times photo shoot in a bikini with the German newspaper or magazine or whatever. And they only reached out to her because of previous notoriety about being a big woman in a bikini in public. She had already done the famous Las Vegas hotel lobby gold bikini photo shoot in which she was, kind of not kicked out, but told to not do that because she didn't properly go about setting that up. She had already been influencing for money for quite a long time. And let's also not forget that she has a bachelor's in communications, a master's degree in, quantitative statistics methods, something like that, when it comes to specifically digital media, digital marketing, and influencing. So I call absolute bull on this entire thing. It's ridiculous for her to even say this. And at the same time, it makes complete sense that she's setting this up because it's not true, but she needs a way to sell her product. And her product right now, as we're going to find out, is BetterHelp. It's her partnership with BetterHelp. This is what this turns into. This ridiculous story is essentially an ad for BetterHelp. So let's continue.
Free, literally just because I was excited that a brand like them wanted to showcase a bigger body. And I've since learned that anytime you work with a brand, there comes certain, potential consequences, and that's part of the reason you get compensated. But that's a whole other story. So this brand ended up using that image in an ad just on social media. And for some reason, the trolls of the internet were especially aggressive that day, and this thing blew up. And
she means normal people and medical professionals asking why the company, which is Gillette, by the way, was promoting and glorifying and glamorizing super morbid obesity. These are her haters, by the way. You know, just blew up because we just hate her so much. No. It's because they didn't like what this company was promoting. Full stop.
It blew up in a way that I could have never imagined. It went everywhere. We're talking news outlets, TV shows in the US and then abroad. And all of a sudden, everybody knew me from this picture, and everybody had to...
By this time, again, she had already, she was writing guest pieces in Cosmopolitan about this crap. She had already blown up on social media. She was already an icon or big player in the healthy at every size, fat acceptance, body positivity community. So again, I call complete BS. She's looking for another excuse, another scapegoat, another reason why XYZ. Somebody else's fault, always and forever.
Opinion about my body. And this was the first time I had really gone viral per se at this level. This was more than I could have ever been prepared for, and more than I expected from just a picture of me in a swimsuit, which I post all the time, and a brand who frankly did not have a huge following on social media. So this progressed into various news outlets, various different systems commenting on my body. In places that weren't just the dark holes of the internet. We're talking on basic TV shows, on podcasts, news programs. There were celebrities commenting on it as well. It was very weird. And it was traumatizing.
But at the same time, it's not like people were looking at this picture and going over every inch of her body and circling problem areas and making fun of her or ridiculing her specifically. It was more of a greater conversation about super morbid obesity and glorifying it, glamorizing it, not stopping and saying, hey, this is not okay. I think one thing that drives me really nuts about the fat acceptance, body positive, healthy at every size community is that, they say things like, everyone is deserving of respect and love and yada, yada, yada. And that's absolutely true. Nobody should be, ridiculed or harassed or whatever because of the size of their body. However, it's absolutely ridiculous that their expectation is that we celebrate their bodies just the way they are and say, you're fine, you're completely healthy. It wouldn't be beneficial for you to lose weight because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Super morbid obesity is bad for your body. It's bad for your brain. It's bad for the individual. It's bad for the society. It's just plain not healthy. The conversations were not about her specifically. And I can understand, I think it would be hard for anybody if you were the catalyst for these bigger conversations, obviously. But again, the commentary was not about her. It was about the overall movement.
It was really, really traumatizing. I felt like everybody had an opinion about my body, but no one actually knew me. And it hurt. It was painful. When this happened, I reached out to that brand and I said, I don't know how to deal with this. I've never dealt with anything like this in my entire life.
Money, please.
I don't want to talk to the press because I don't want my words twisted. And I don't even know what to say. It was a picture of me on a beach having fun. I don't even understand why people are upset. And I don't feel like I need to justify. And
she doesn't understand why people are upset. And yet they've made it perfectly clear about why. So what's the confusion? What's the confusion, Anna?
Anything, because I didn't do anything wrong. So I chose not to speak to press and I asked them for support in finding a therapist. I did not get that support. So
this is where it turns into an ad for BetterHelp, as we can see right here. And this is where, again, I question, did any of this next part even really happen? Or is it just tied to this ad read, to this sponsorship, this promotion? We're not going to go and do that because we're skipping it. But here's the ridiculous part, a little visual, a visual guide for this story. Here we go. Buckle up if you're not already.
A discussion of who I was entirely, right? It's it was one picture at one moment at one place in my life, and it had become my entire story, and I couldn't escape it. After I thought that this was starting to die down, I decided to take a walk with my dog, as I often did in New York City, and was just walking him. He was sniffing things, out doing a normal thing, and a car of, I want to say young adults, so maybe 18 to 21 boys. I want to call them boys because these definitely were not men. They were childish as hell. Drove by me, started screaming, "That's that fat chick from the swim photo." They took their fast food and they threw it at me out the car window while one of their friends filmed me with their camera. And they laughed and it was terrifying and I broke into a complete panic attack. I literally fell on the ground and honestly kind of blacked out. It was the most unsafe I've ever felt in my entire life. And honestly, if you want to know why I love my dog, it's because he got on my chest and he stayed there with me and calmed me through a panic attack. I have never been afraid of the world. And I have never been scared of doing anything that I wanted, really. I never let my weight affect me. And before becoming a creator, I didn't believe that it actually could stop me from doing the things I wanted. And if I know that's easy to say in front of a camera now that I'm like this plus size femme fatale or whatever. I love how I just called myself a femme fatale, but I really did live my life and that I can do anything and nothing's going to stop me. And I have a lot of examples of where I achieved that. But in this moment, that confidence and that power was completely taken away from me.
And there it is, right? It was taken from her, stolen. She's a victim in this. She's always a victim. It's just always somebody else. It was taken from her. Her delusional belief in herself that her size would never, ever, ever cause her any problems or hold her back from anything or make anything negative in her life happen. It was shattered. They took that delusion from her. Taken. Poof.
And I never knew if I would get it back. I'm being very real with you. I ended up leaving New York. This is one of the reasons I left New York. A reason that I've never shared up until this point, because I didn't feel like it.
Isn't that convenient that she never shared that reason up until this point? Because in People magazine, in previous videos of hers, she specifically says she left because of her job and she left because of the price. That's it. Is it more shameful for her to admit that she doesn't have the other job and that she couldn't afford it than it is for her to be like, you know, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
A good place to. It doesn't feel great to say I ran away. But that's the truth. I did. I ran away from New York because I was scared. I didn't feel safe walking my dog. I didn't trust myself. And when I got back to, reality.
It's also funny that she's saying because of the Gillette incident, which gave her so much notoriety and everything, that is why she left New York. And in reality, in, I think, July of 2020, she put out a video. I'll put it up here. And she talks about how she gained so many followers on TikTok, like over 3 million followers or something in 6 months, and she blew up, and how she was getting recognized places, and she felt like in New York City she couldn't just, throw her hair up in a mussy bun and be sloppy and go take her dog on a walk. And that caused her to basically become a shut-in in her apartment, her studio apartment in New York. And because of this, she was feeling her mental health decline. She wasn't going out. She wasn't having relationships with friends. She wasn't getting exercise anymore because, previous to this, she was running every day. And so that is why she cited moving to Austin because, people don't know her there. There's more space. It's not the hustle and bustle of New York City. So which is it? Like, what's the real reason here? I think the reasons always shift depending on what needs to fit her narrative, what needs to fit this space to fill in the gap to make it not her fault, to make it something other than what it really is, to make the problem something else and not the fact that she can't stop eating, right? And she can't stop eating because she hasn't, dealt with things. This is the fascination. And Anna is such an example of an extreme that I think part of the interest and morbid curiosity and why we can't look away is because I think it makes us examine our own lives. And knowing that Anna is an extreme example, what are the small ways in our lives that we might be deluding ourselves like Anna does all the time? Where are the excuses that we still believe are real, even though deep down we probably know that they're not? And this is the fascination for me. I mean, it is Anna because it's like, wow, that's how did we get here, right? But I think the power in examples like her is how it does cause the rest of us to look upon it and look at our own lives. And that's really interesting. How much does the character of Anna overlap with the character of GlitterAndLazers? Because they both kind of feel like they've morphed.
My entire world had turned in on itself. And honestly, if it hadn't been for therapy, I don't know if I ever would have gotten back to me. And I say this now as a person who lived probably about 3 years in darkness. It didn't just feel like these boys had done a one incident to me. At that moment, it felt like the world was against me. And I couldn't understand why.
Again, what is there not to understand? But also, number one, look at that spatula back there. That's okay. But also, again, Anna, the narrative wasn't about you specifically. It was about this promotion, glamorization, mass acceptance, or, corporate acceptance of morbid, unhealthy obesity.
When I started my health journey, I didn't start by being active or changing the way I ate. I started by dealing with my trauma. And it was,
I mean, ideally you would do all of those at once, but I guess one's better than nothing.
because I was building walls to protect myself from, frankly, what I've come to learn are a small majority of the people in this world. And most of the time they self-identify as
I think she means small minority, not small majority, but I'm just being pedantic.
right? That took a lot of therapy to get to. It took a lot, guys. It took a lot of therapy. But about a year and a half ago, I stopped having to work on this trauma, right? Therapy is great, and I believe it's a life.
All right, guys, trauma dealt with, so should be fine now. Can totally lose weight. Change our diet.
Then this past week, something happened. And it's not a fun story either,
Here we
but
go.
the ending is pretty sick. So I was out walking my dog, yet again, this time.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'll put a little visual board up here to do this one, too, because it's equally as ridiculous.
I'm in Austin, this time in 104 degrees. And a man drove by in what can only be described as a really just like piece of shit car. Just like old car, busted. Like this was nothing to be proud of, nor nothing to be ashamed of. But it's not like this guy was like stunting in a Porsche. He was rolling in a like a 2000 Kia, right? So he rolls down his window, and I'm just gonna pretend it was a crank because this car was old and I want to dog on him a little bit. So he rolls the window down and he sticks his head like across the seat because he's driving, you know, like this, and he goes, "You fat bitch," and then drives off. And in that moment,
I'm going to take things that didn't happen for $5,000, Alex.
I realized how much I had changed. Because 2 to 3 years ago, I would have had a panic attack. I would have been affected for days and weeks after. But instead, I looked to a woman who was like near me as a neighbor, and she was kind of like gobsmacked, didn't know what to do. And I go, isn't that sad? Like, isn't that kind of pathetic that like that guy in that car thinks I'm a loser? And I was just really proud of myself. And the reason I'm telling this story is not for sympathy or for...
It's for money. She's telling the story for money because remember, this is a BetterHelp ad. Let's not forget that. And yeah, literally that's the whole frickin' thing. And it's interesting though, because the comments are turned off. And I thought for sponsored content they had to be on, but maybe it's just like a, I don't know, affiliate link or something like that. Maybe that's why. I don't know. It's ridiculous. All right, well, thank you so much if you got this far. I hope you enjoyed that little explore and explain with Anna regarding that part of the Bikini Bay arc. We'll be getting into another part of that next time. Do leave me an emoji related to what you want to see next on the from either Annaland or we have other players in Gorl World. We do have, now full disclosure, I don't know much about Foodie Beauty, nor do I really have interest in her. She seems kind of boring. I know a little bit about Alexandra Rodriguez. That has some interesting points I could definitely go over and dive through. There is, of course, Amberlynn Reed. Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of drama going on with that lately, so I don't know. Perhaps that one. Yeah. Let me know what you think. If you have any feedback for me, please boop the like button if you would like the video. Subscribe if you want to see some of the other parts of Annaland and Gorl World. It's going to be interesting and fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. And as promised, if you stuck around, you can have a little preview of what I intend to be my next video. So enjoy.